If you're the top motherfucker on each one of those programs, you're still going to be fucking relatively poor. For those of you that saw it on film when I went to Dan's thing, and I was privileged to be there, I get up there, big fucking dick and closer. And then the industry experts in the law. I mean, there's a lot of shit and balls that you got to keep in the air. And the guys and the gals that get it done so quickly are super organized. And most of you, like she said it 2 or 3 times, when you start keeping track of the time, I'm going to bring the weekly report up tomorrow. You will shit. The blacks are going to turn white. The Chinamen are going to turn whatever you're red. You will absolutely fucking shit yourself. But that's what it takes. And you do 100% of that, and then when you don't do, there's 70 some things to do. You write, I cunted out. When you've got 68 I cunted outs out of 77 things, why do I call you a cunt? Because you are a cunt. The very, very best, even her, 10 cunted outs in a report. Meaning she didn't do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. All of you can do this over a 5-year period of time, even the fucking biggest fucking meathead. But to do it in 45 days, you got to be a humping motherfucker, and not just humping, the way you go to the gym now. I mean, you got to put 3 inches on your arms by summer, not your legs, your arm. Well, you got to be a humping motherfucker, but it's possible. It's the only game in town. I tell you all the horror stories because I don't really give a shit what you think. I really don't. But I don't want to leave you delusional. Like all the other guys lie to you. It's not easy. You can't. I've never seen a part-time high-performance person in 74 and a half years. And you want to do it part fucking time. I've never ever seen a part-time high-performance person. Come back and tell me how you did in 10 years. That's fine. I hope you're dead. But all the other guys don't tell you this. Even the Wolf of Wall Street stuff is good. Grant's stuff is good. Dan Locke's stuff is good. Brian's stuff is pretty good. But none of those programs are going to create your generational wealth. None. If you're the top motherfucker on each one of those programs, you're still going to be fucking relatively poor. For those of you that saw it on film when I went to Dan's thing, and I was privileged to be there, I get up there, big fucking dick and closer. That's my best imitation of a Japanese. When my son and I used to play in golf tournaments, and Derek is a big hitter. My son, youngest son, 350, no problem off the tee. 400, no problem. And the Japanese guys used to like to follow us. Arigato, big fucking hitter. You must be very proud, Mr. Pena. Very proud. And even though I mimic talking about, they love it still. And then they don't want the sun, so they wear long sleeves and gloves and fucking put shit on their face. But God forbid they should get the sun on their little white skin, so they probably get cancer. But guys, you can do it if you really want it. If you're a pretender, then you're going to suffer. I mean, you will suffer. But I mean, she's a great role model. She's got great leadership skills. Her communication skills are damn good, as opposed to the others. This is a progression, the ones you see. Now, very few of you are going to be able to relate to her in here so far. You could relate to some of the mouses that you've heard earlier, but certainly not her. You wouldn't move your fucking family from Dallas to fucking Houston if I gave you $1 trillion, because you got 2 kids in junior high school, and I've heard all the shit. Fuck you. I'm telling the kids. You'll make new friends or die. I don't give a fuck. You're not going to say that to your little daughter, are you? No fucking way. And look how your program's worked out so far. You're fucked. You're fucked because you're a family man. You're fucked because you're a good son. Maybe you're not a good son, but anyway, you're okay. That's why you're fucked. Don't you get it? For the Asians in the room, you are the pension fund for your parents. Most Asians are raised for the kids. The reason why they want you to go be a fucking doctor is so you can support them when, they got no fucking teeth. Unfortunately. And the old caveman days when the people lost their teeth, the kids would chew the food and give it to the parents. Well, it's not much different if you're a Chinese family, except they're not chewing the tooth because you're going to force some false teeth that you got off Medicare or something. Well, what kind of life is that you're raised to be the pension fund of your fucking parents? Am I the only motherfucker to think that's wrong? But you've been inundated with that thought process. And then you see a bitch like this, who's a hard-charging cunt. And now she's got a third of her board going to move to fucking DFW with her. You couldn't get a guy to move across the street today. Questions about the Viking bitch. Yeah.
LOI breakout clauses.
Oh, thank you. You'll see in the big companies, $1 billion transactions, there is a breakout clause for 55 or 150 million bucks. That's normally to pay legal fees. That means that both sides are enter into a purchase sales agreement legitimately with good intentions, and party A, for whatever reason, decides to pull out of the deal. So then they have to pay the breakup clause of 150 million. It's much more difficult to get breakup clauses on smaller deals, but the kids are getting them because if you don't ask, you don't get. On a $3.5 million deal a couple months ago, a guy had a $50,000 breakup clause, and he collected it. I was stunned because breakup clauses just aren't used. It's not because they're not legal, not because it's not moral, whatever. It's just they're not used. Again, the lawyers that you're using are probably not the best on smaller deals. But breakup clauses, you should, if you can get them in, get them in. It's one more bit of leverage that you have. That's assuming you're not trying to pull out of the deal. If you're trying to pull out of the deal, then you're going to wind up paying the breakup clause. And the reason why most of the kids are afraid to use breakup clauses is because they're not sure of their own self, they're not sure of their own team, and they're afraid, well, fuck, what if I got to come up with 200 grand for a breakup clause? Where am I going to get the fucking money? So, because you have no money, remember? So how are you going to pay a breakup clause? You're going to mortgage your fucking house. Nobody wants to hear that. So breakup clauses are a two-edged sword. I like them because they put pressures on the other side, because I assume I'm always going to go forward with the deal. I've collected a few breakup clauses. I've never had to pay one, but I'm always pushing forward. And she's done a remarkable job. Yes, sir.
And due diligence would void that breakup clause if you found something.
Oh yeah, well, exactly right. If you found something, but breakup clause is for when you don't find anything.
So you didn't want it to begin with.
What?
You did not want it to begin with. Then.
No. You wanted it, but I mean, it's just because shit happens. I mean, Procter & Gamble's going to buy Colgate. And then for whatever reason, something happens, Colgate's got shitty numbers. Them getting shitty numbers is not reason to call the breakup clause, because you're supposed to have had, of course, a public company is different. You will have had access to public information in the public domain. So, I mean, you shouldn't be surprised. But there can always be a black swan, a tsunami, something happened where they lost 40% of their factories in South America because, okay, and then you want to pull out, but then it's worth it. But it's designed to keep people from willy-nilly pulling out of deals. Yep.
So it's basically due diligence, then a breakup clause.
No. The breakup clause is in the LOI, even in Joburg. It's a little different in Joburg, but you can carry guns in Joburg. I like that. The only thing I like about, not the only, you can carry guns. But carrying a gun, unless you're going to pull the trigger, then they'll just take the gun. We had a young kid, this is 15, 20 years ago, in Joburg. They laughed, they took the gun away from him and pistol whipped him with it. If you're not going to shoot him, I mean, you're not going to certainly scare him, because, until you stop pulling the trigger with another hand.
Yes, Dan, I was going to ask, for us getting out of the deal, what would be a good reason for us to get out of the deal?
There is no, other than you find something that through fraud, malfeasance, they said they had a government contract that was 10 years, had 10 years of life, and you find out it only had 10 months left. Okay. Well, but that's just a reason to pound the price down. That's not a reason to get out. But if that's the whole asset worth, if that's the whole enterprise worth value, or most of the enterprise value, then that's a good reason to get out. And then you can use. But I mean, then normally the big companies put breakout clause, the fees for breakout fees in escrow. They don't just Scout's honor, I'm going to pay you. They don't do it that way. They put it in an escrow account. And the escrow account is, but then this, all you have to do is go to court, and you can get if you can convince a judge, a sharp, silver-tongued lawyer can convince a judge that there may be some malfeasance, the judge will put a constructive trust on the escrow account and freeze the money. And so then it's a pissing match to get the money out of escrow. I don't like escrow accounts because that's no guarantee. Just because you put it in escrow doesn't mean you're going to get the money. Cashier's checks. I give you a cashier's check for €1 million. You deposit it. I go to a judge and sing a song and dance about there was some fraud involved. They can go take that money after you've cashed the check. They can go take that money out of your account. Most people think cashier's checks are 100%. They're not 100%. It's whatever the judge says. And if you can convince a judge, and you've got, a top-notch lawyer, remember you're hiring lawyers that you can't afford. You're hiring lawyers £4,000, euros, dollars an hour. And the other side is using 215 pounds an hour. I can tell you who I'm putting my money on. The guy that rolls up in a limousine wearing $10,000 suits $5,000 shoes that gets $5,000 an hour. That's who I'm putting my money on. Not your fifth cousin through a bastard that went to law school and he took 9 times to pass the bar. That's not who I'm putting my money on. You all kind of laugh. Well, you must know there was another yes in the back.
When she was talking about seller financing, she mentioned that she revalued the company every 6 months or something to adjust.
No, that's when the doctor was staying on for a year or two. So seller finance can be very beneficial to the seller because one, she's giving him too much money when, he brought in a client, $100, he gets 70, she gets 30. I had to flip that, 70-30 the other way. But I mean, if the doctor, because you will get many of these medical practices you're buying, or dental practices, etc., you're reinvigorating the seller. I mean, he's having fun again, or she's having fun again, or they're having fun again. And the comment she made a couple of times is they don't understand marketing. They don't know SEO from horseshit. They don't know any of these things. And so they have not become adept at increasing foot traffic into their establishment through online marketing. They just haven't. And that's why, not 100%, but almost 100% of the time, you can increase turnover or revenue, top line 10, 20% with hardly any effort whatsoever. Other than, and I'm not talking about having paid SEO campaigns, I'm just talking about, some AdWords. I mean, they just don't. Why they don't, I stopped worrying about that 10, 15 years ago. I don't know why they don't. I don't know. But they're not Googling as much as you. They don't know all the alleged ins and outs. I think SEO is bullshit. Search engine optimization is fuck. If you believe in that, I got a bridge to sell you in fucking Brooklyn. That's all horseshit. The internet, in my opinion, is a scam. And anybody, almost everybody, associated with search engine optimization and affiliate you're all full of shit because you can't make an honest living someplace else. And that's the God's truth, and you know it. It's a joke, but it's a joke a lot of people are involved in. But I mean, 1,000 years from now, it's not going to be one. It's not going to be like what Moses brought down in the tablets. Believe me, it'll be a phase of scammers. What value? I could talk all day about it. What value? You don't bring any anyway. Okay. But to the little guy that's keeping his money in a cigar box, you can add value. But that's the low end of the food chain. You're not going to add value to me or anybody that's got any fucking money. So you're adding one or two more rungs on the ladder out of the gutter, but you're at the bottom end of the food chain. That's what affiliate marketing and bullshit is. A lot of quiet faces now. Yes, sir.
For the so your CFO will advise you to how to evaluate deals if you're not really sure.
No. I'm going to show you as soon as we get off camera, 10 seconds how to evaluate deals. 1/100th of a second. For some of you that are slower, maybe 3 seconds. For some of you that, have a less than 20 IQ, maybe 5 seconds. You don't need any evaluation. But if they're not a motivated seller, don't waste your time. Now, see, remember I told you that you're going to spend a lot of time, an inordinate amount of time, trying to convince them. Remember I said yesterday, when a good-looking girl comes in the room, how long does it take you?
Half a second.
If that, right? She's either hot or not. Right? Same thing with the deal. And all the numbers and all that's all bullshit. And they're all selling documents in one form or another. And the selling documents are there to convince you to buy. They're not standing up for or verifying or validating the value of the deal. They're giving you enough information in their minds to get you convinced that it's a deal that you should own. But that's not the numbers we want. But whether they're giving you the numbers we want or need or desire or not, doesn't matter if the seller's not motivated. And many sellers will kick the tires just to see what their company's valued at. Have no intention of ever selling. And because they want to know for their estate planning, how much is my business worth? What's my tax liability going to be when I'm 75, I'll live to 80. What's my tax liability, going to be when I die? So they can make some, provisional plans for estate planning. Now I can tell the difference when I talk to these assholes. You can ask tonight, ask one of you, ask Sally, is it true that after the first meeting they asked Dan not to come back? Just ask her that. It's the truth. They don't want to see me a second fucking time. They'll call Kim and says, when is your group land, blah, blah, blah. And then, is Is Mr. Pena traveling with him? You know if he plans on attending the meeting? They don't want me to come to the meeting. Because I ask hard motherfucking questions. Not just because I used to allegedly choke people and shit like that, but I ask hard fucking questions. Jason Nagy, they don't want him to come to meetings anymore. He's at the top of his motherfucking game. I'm so proud I almost shit when I heard that. He's at the top of his fucking game. When they don't want to see you anymore, but they still want to do business with you, you know you're at the top of your game. That's because you're afraid of you. Fear is good. Costa Grazos on National Shipping Line said, smart people are afraid of Mr. Pena. He was fucking right. I'm not there, you know. If I'm in the pit with the gladiators, I'm going to be the last motherfucker standing. I'm not there to make friends or, you know, eat ice cream with you.